This is Monkey World in Dorset, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. Today's programme is a Monkey Life special in Chile, South America. The team have joined forces with the military to fly 88 Capuchin monkeys to Monkey World. It'll be the park's most challenging rescue ever.
The whole mission that we've taken on is really nobody in their right mind would take it on.
And for the 4 Capuchins already living at the park, their lives will never be the same again. Monkey World is home to 15 different species of primate. One of these is the Capuchin monkey. At present, 4 live at the park, but they're about to be joined by a whole lot more. 7,000 miles away, in South America, Park Director Alison and Animal Manager Jeremy are preparing to start the biggest rescue mission in the history of the park.
We're really pleased to finally get here because it's been over a year since we first started talking about rescuing some Capuchin monkeys in a laboratory in Chile. And finally, we've made it here, so really excited.
This university laboratory has been home to 88 Capuchins that have been used for medical research. Studies have now finished, but these primates are institutionalised and can't be released into the wild. So, Monkey World has stepped in. But this rescue mission has been fraught with difficulties.
There were all sorts of political problems, animal protesters at the lab threatening the lives of the researchers and so on. So the lab really had to make a decision and say, you have to come take the monkeys now and you can take whatever you can take.
The Monkey World team had planned to transfer the Capuchins gradually in smaller groups, but those plans have now changed. All 88 are to be moved at once. It's a massive task, and today, Alison and Jeremy are going to meet the monkeys for the first time.
Well, what we're trying to do is get a basic assessment of what everybody's mental state is, and also, of course, any physical problems or any management husbandry problems. Some individuals don't take anesthetic well. Some individuals, are a little bit crazy.
Running in circles around the cages can be typical behaviour for monkeys kept in small environments.
The abnormal behaviour doesn't bother us so much because it's quite likely that when we get them out of this environment and into a new environment, that might all go away.
The staff here are worried about their safety and don't want to be recognised, but it's clear to the team that, although the conditions here are very basic, the monkeys have been looked after well and their overall physical state is better than expected.
A lot of the worries for me when I came here would be to the husbandry that they've had. And just looking at the way these people are with the animals, they clearly are really caring people looking after the animals in this situation, and that's really going to make our life so much easier when they get back to Monkey World. I mean, it's not going to be easy by any standards, but it could make something possible rather than impossible.
Later, things take a turn for the worse for one of the Capuchins, and he needs emergency surgery. And the team discovers there might not be enough room to get all the Capuchins on their rescue plane. Alison and Jeremy have a tough decision to make.
Jeremy and I are trying to think that if we have to leave half a dozen behind, which ones are the candidates that would have to remain.
While the team is busy in Chile, back at Monkey World, last-minute preparations are being made for the Capuchin's arrival. The staff have spent weeks designing and building the Capuchin's new homes and enclosures, and they've been creative, developing their final, elaborate design.
What we've done for the Capuchins, we started off, primate care staff got involved and we made a model. And from the model, you know, the structure's gone up. We've put in staircases that we've never done before in the park, a spiral staircase, a different dimension to the enclosure, and hopefully the Capuchins will use it. There's more hose pipe to go up, there's nets to go in, there's rope bridges to go up.
Everything's user-friendly, everything's homegrown, if you like, as well, as much as we can. And it's environmentally friendly as well, as much as we can. There's no bad things in here, if you like. Everything's unique and growing as we can help it.
The park has designed this enclosure with multi-levels and, most importantly, lots of space. In the wild, Capuchin monkeys forage everywhere for food, from the highest part of the tree canopy right down to the forest floor.
You know, it's a big enclosure. You know, the Capuchins that are coming have been in solitary confinement, you know, we know that much. You know, but as Monkey World has always done, you know, we will always give as much space as possible that we can afford for any species in the park. And I think this is just going to be absolutely wonderful. You know, it's a new lease of life. It's what Monkey World's about. It's about giving back what's been taken away from the primates in the park.
Back in Chile, it's day 2, and the enormity of the task is starting to sink in.
The whole mission that we've taken on is really nobody in their right mind would take it on. I mean, it's never been done before. Nothing like it has been done. You know, we've learned so much along the way, but it's like any science. The more you know, the more you realise you don't know anything.
One crucial thing Alison and Jeremy have to do is assess the monkeys' social skills. If there's going to be any chance of rehabilitating these Capuchins, they're going to have to be able to interact with one another in a large group. Most of these primates have lived alone in cages, so it's a big risk, and just may not be possible. But Jeremy's pleased at how aware of one another the monkeys appear to be.
I mean, even though this animal can't see that animal, they're chatting away. You can hear them. They're all chatting away. They all know each other. So, although they're going to be upset, and it's all going to be very new for them and all that stuff, they're not going to. They're going to be chatting away. They're going to be talking to each other, and that is going to really help them. It really is going to help them a lot.
And, even more surprising for the team, there's a noticeable hierarchy of dominance in each room. The alpha male in this one is 30-year-old Gorillon. And this morning, the team has noticed he has a medical problem.
He's got a swelling under his left eye, and that's almost definitely an infected canine tooth. So, with any dentist work, the first thing you've got to do is clear up the infection, which is causing the problem. So we've talked to the ladies here, and they're going to put him on some antibiotics, possibly give him a long-acting antibiotic, which will cover him till we get back to Monkey World. Still got a few miles to put on the clock, haven't you?
Some of the younger primates are let out during the day. This gives Jeremy more of a chance to observe how the monkeys react to one another.
He says, I'm not sure about you. I have that effect on people, don't worry. But he's dashing about all over these cages with the other animals in, and nobody's going for him. Nobody's biting his fingers or toes or tail or anything. We're going to play this game? No? No? No, he said no.
The plan is to place these Capuchins in 2 large groups back at Monkey World, and everything that Jeremy and the team have seen here is encouraging. It really looks as if they might adapt to life in the open.
And the sooner you're not number 124, but have a proper name, the better, I reckon. Isn't it?
Coming up, the transportation of the Capuchin monkeys to England is being organised by the Chilean Air Force. But will all 88 be able to get on board the military aircraft?
There is some question mark now as to whether or not all of the boxes with their water bottles that sort of add a bit of extra dimension to it will all fit into the cargo bay area of the plane that we've been allotted.
And Monkey World's 4 resident Capuchins are blissfully unaware that they'll soon be sharing their breakfast with another 88 of their own kind. In South America, the Monkey World team is facing a major problem with its mission to rescue 88 Capuchin monkeys. The Chilean Air Force have offered to fly all the monkeys at once in a huge military aircraft. But they think there may not be enough room on board for all the transport boxes.
There is some question mark now as to whether or not all of the boxes with their water bottles that sort of add a bit of extra dimension to it will all fit into the cargo bay area of the plane. So we just now need to make a decision of, will they actually fit into the space provided? Otherwise, there might actually have to be some individuals that are left behind. So why everybody is out there sort of discussing boxes and dimensions of cargo holds right now, Jeremy and I are sitting down with all of the notes trying to think that if we have to leave half a dozen behind, which ones are the candidates that would have to remain.
At the moment, it's not looking good, but Alison is determined that they won't leave any monkeys behind, and she's come up with a plan.
What we can do is right now stack up 4 to make sure that we are feeling that they are strong enough. Jeremy thinks that we could stack 6 high, no problem, so I think probably okay. Because it looks like we're going to be racking and stacking them a bit, but it's totally okay because we have very deep sort of trays underneath everybody and good ventilation all the way around. So
and these legs on the bottom,
perfect.
These legs on the bottom will be great for airflow.
For airflow and everything. Yeah.
You know, that's quite a gap.
Some of the Capuchins live as a pair, so in order to save more space, they'll be allowed to travel together. By saving every inch of space they can and stacking the travelling boxes, Alison, the Monkey World team and the Chilean Air Force finally managed to work out how to fit all 88 monkeys on board.
So not only are we going to be able to look in everybody's eyes in every single box for the entire journey, we'll be able to give them extra water and just meet their needs. So these guys have really outdone themselves. It's going to be a brilliant journey.
But the number may already be down to 87. Alpha male Gorillon's medication has not been enough to keep the infection in his canine tooth at bay. He needs surgery before he can travel to Monkey World.
He has infection in his tooth that caused a swelling on his face, which we have seen before, and now the dentists are cleaning it out, and they'll give him a root filling, which is really good for Gorilla because he is 30 years old. He's already missing 1 canine tooth, so being able to keep that extra canine tooth on the top is really good.
Gorillon will be given medication and carefully monitored for the next couple of days.
Day after tomorrow, I'm sure it'll be fine by then. You know, there's loads of antibiotic and painkiller and everything, so new monkey.
This means that Gorillon will be able to make the trip to England, and he'll be much more comfortable. Back on the other side of the globe, the 4 Capuchin monkeys who already live at Monkey World are blissfully unaware of the new arrivals headed their way. It's breakfast time, and today their fruit is being served with a difference, in jelly-filled bottles. Each of these 4 monkeys has a very different character, and nothing shows this more than when there's food on offer. First out is female, Terry. At the moment, she's the only Capuchin girl at the park, and she's smart enough to know she has to get in quick before the boys show up and grab all the food. The keepers have placed the fruits in these bottles to make the monkeys work harder for their reward. Capuchins have long, dexterous fingers. This allows them to easily grasp fiddly objects, and it's certainly working on the fruity chunks. Next out is Tom. He's the boss, and he loves his food. But he can't see the point of all that work to get at the fruit. Especially since Terry's leftovers are lying around. Tom's going to have to try harder than that if he's going to remain alpha male after the arrival of the new Capuchins from Chile. Finally, here's the most vulnerable member of the group, Shy Gizmo. He seems unsure of the bottles and keeps his distance. Just like the Chilean Capuchins, Gizmo was found living in solitary confinement. So when he arrived at the park, he needed to learn to adapt to being with others of his own kind. Gizmo has been one of the park's more difficult monkeys to rehabilitate. The staff will have to keep a close eye on him in the weeks to come. Tom's decided to move on from the leftovers and have a go at a bottle himself. Capuchin monkeys are the most intelligent of all the South American primates, but this all seems a bit too taxing for Tom. While Tom is distracted, Gizmo seizes his opportunity. It's taken 2 long years to rehabilitate him, but at last he seems to be getting the idea of living and feeding with others. And this is great to see, as soon he'll be living with many, many more. In Chile, the mission has started to get all 88 Capuchins ready and into their travel boxes. The first to go are the monkeys who already live in pairs.
It'll actually be a much more easy journey for them because they'll have companionship and it makes it sort of more comfortable and friendly, and they can sort of hug each other on the whole journey. So those that were already paired up, we're leaving in pairs, transporting in their existing cages so that they feel familiar and don't get freaked out. So far so good.
But some of the monkeys who do have to move boxes aren't happy to just walk into them, and they need a little firm encouragement.
Move, quick, out of the way.
But that girl didn't want to go. And you get to a point when you've got to do something, and don't mess about. If you're going to catch her. Don't think, should I? No, just go for it. And she didn't even try to bite, and then it's done. But all that, she was getting upset with this method and that method and the other method, so just grab her and put her in a box. And it really is that simple, but you've got to go for it.
The job of loading the boxes onto the transport lorries has begun. The Capuchins have not been sedated because it's dangerous to transport an animal unconscious. It's also less stressful if the monkeys are fully aware of everything going on throughout the journey.
And everybody's made the transition down into the truck really well. It's been a really nice, calm move, so it's a good start, really good start.
They know this is the best thing for the monkeys, but it's hard for the staff who've spent 20 years caring for them to say goodbye. "87 Capuchins are boxed and ready to go. There's just one chap left. Gorillon has recovered well from his tooth op.
Don't worry, you're coming as well. We're not going without you, old lad. No, we're not coming without you. Yeah, you're looking pretty good, aren't you? A bit confused about what's happening now. Yes, you are. So obviously we've still got to keep up the antibiotic and the TLC, and he'll be fine. See you in a bit.
For many of the Capuchins, even just the trip to the airport will be the first time they've experienced the outside world. And once they get to the park, it'll be the first time they will have ever seen daylight.
Yeah, it's sort of amazing to think that these guys have never been outside in their lives, a lot of them. So this is the first feel of fresh air. Most of them are pretty calm, actually. You see, they're just sort of curious looking around, and I'm actually impressed how calm they are, considering that they've never been outside of that lab before.
The job of loading the Capuchins onto the plane is a massive one. It'll take 25 people 5 hours to complete the task.
We've been up through the night boxing all of these guys up, and now standing here alongside a Hercules about to fly through Brazil and then into the Canary Islands and eventually on to UK, so pretty huge. Yeah, it doesn't get much huger.
It's dawn when the plane finally gets clearance to take off. And once in the air, it's back to business for the team.
None of them are screaming threats or alarm calls, so it's not bad. I think they're quite content. It's really warm in here. They'll like that. They're getting really nice snacks along the way. And for the first time in their lives, they're interacting with us, and nothing's going to be done to them. And that's the way it should be, and it's the way it's going to continue. And we're going to be doing a lot more of that at Monkey World. In fact, we've got everything lined up, branches, all kinds of stuff, more natural environment for them. So these guys have a lot more spoiling to be done.
After a very long day, the team finally gets a chance to get comfortable. Or as comfortable as they can. Next time, it's been a 2-day journey, but the Chilean Capuchins finally land in the UK. It's treat time at the park, and alpha male Tom will do everything he can to get his hands on them. And there's bad news in the orangutan house. A couple of days ago, toddler Aris had a knee operation, but something has gone seriously wrong.
The next morning, he was found effectively in a state as if he'd had, in simple terms, some kind of stroke.